So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
Oh, all right.
It's tiny.
Itsy bitsy tiny.
Yeah.
Back in the hot seats again.
It's actually a hot seat today.
Whew. Yeah, it's cold. You guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, you guys see I have a jacket on. It is chilly outside. It's wintertime here. And the temperature's going up and down, and that's weird because some days it's really super cold on the measuring apparatus. And you're fine, and you're walking outside in a light jacket, and then the next day it's much warmer on the measuring apparatus.
Apparatus.
Yes, and then you basically have to put on a jacket. So that's what it is.
Well, with that introduction, we're not here to talk about the weather.
Oh, isn't that what people do?
People always talk about the weather.
Yep.
Something we cannot control and we do always complain about, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
In one way.
Yeah.
Now we actually have gotten questions, and this is very good questions. We have to, let's see if we manage both, because they are big but very good questions. So let's start with number one here.
Yeah.
It is, so number one, how are physical symptoms such as digestive issues connected to subconscious blockages or traumas, and how does one work with them?
Oh, that's really interesting.
It's a super question.
Yeah. So this is the way it works, okay? Your intestines has its own nervous system that is then hooked up to your spinal cord. And your spinal cord gives it sympathetic and parasympathetic information. The parasympathetic, which is the resting and digesting portion of it, comes from the brain stem, basically. And that is what creates activity that has to do, again, with resting and digesting. When you have sympathetic activity, and that comes more directly from the spinal cord and the lumbar spine, the low back, that's basically shutting things down, because if you're running from a tiger, you don't care what you just ate. You know what I'm saying?
Out of tiger running these days.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, or if you're caught in traffic and you're freaking out, your body, weirdly enough, doesn't always understand the difference between those stress levels.
It doesn't. Yeah,
Right?
I find that very, very, very fascinating that if it's a tiger or if it's a car honking,
Yeah.
the body responds the same way. And I had this issue, as you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we identified was that I was living in constant stress.
Yes.
My body could never, it was constantly in a fight and flight modus.
Yeah. Fight, flight, and freeze.
It was
Yeah.
the only thing it did.
That's
So
it.
at what time could it actually function? And which we're going to get into in a while now, I think, is that, I was just holding everything because I was not able to relax.
That's right. And you went through a very deep process on one of our Awaken weekends, and you fixed your tummy. Bam, bam, bam.
I wasn't done in a session.
It was amazing.
Actually.
It done in one session, which is how many years of
Well, we
problems?
can. Well, let's put some frame on it, because I had this. It has to do, with when I started my process.
Mm-hmm.
How it started was because I think if you listen to one of the first podcasts, you're gonna hear about it, because I have and had an amazing still have it, because I'm just using it differently. But I had an amazing ability to manifest issues in my body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I did you proud and how well I did that. It was very well done.
Yes.
if I was stressed, if I went over a certain level of intensity, then I would manifest massive inflammations and back pains.
Yeah,
and
lots of somatic expression of
Insane.
internal turmoil.
Like-
For those people who like the academic version of this,
Yeah.
it's in the way you handle it was amazing, but Jesus, you were not healthy.
No, I was having a lot of issues, migraines constantly, always having back pains. But now my back pain comes from collisions when I train martial arts, which is now the pains come from outside in.
Yes.
Like I'm getting something from the outside. I was whack-a-mole with a door the other day.
Oh my God.
And there's in the mall.
Yeah. Innocently, by the way.
Innocently, the
Yeah.
door attacked me.
Yes.
But I got ping-ponged balled.
Yeah, those automatic doors that kind of shut on you when you're not looking at it, and you're kind of not in the middle, so you get whacked back and forth.
And I discovered I have very narrow shoulders because my head touched both sides
Oh my
of
God.
the door. But so now it's from the outside in. But I manifested everything from the inside out before regarding pain.
Yes.
And I know in 2000 and I started here 2016, which means this was in 2014. I can show you the date where my tummy stopped working.
Wow.
I had amazing tummy issues. I
Wow.
I don't know why it happened. I had a flu,
Yeah.
and after that flu,
Yeah.
it stopped.
Wow.
And I do not think it was the flu. I was in the army. I was working my ass off. It was a lot of stress around it. But before that, I had how do you say, regular stool.
Yes.
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 What's
Yeah. A regular tummy.
Thank you. A regular tummy.
Yeah.
And after that, I could go 2 or 3 weeks without.
Yeah. Which is crazy unhealthy.
It's crazy unhealthy.
And painful.
It's painful.
Both having it and afterwards, it's
so
crazy.
but I didn't have the issue of it getting released. I had more the issue of it not wanting out.
Yeah.
So I could go 2 or 3 weeks. Massive pains, of course.
Yep.
A lot of cramps. I tried everything. I took everything you could. Every way you can put something in the body.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried magnesium.
Yep.
Didn't work. I tried C vitamin, and in Norway you get this like
Itsy bitsy.
itsy bitsy. I took a tablespoon,
Oh.
and nothing happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nothing happened. And a tablespoon of C vitamin.
Like the smallest cup you can imagine, that's 250 milligrams. And then she was taking a tablespoon, heaping tablespoon.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I went to the medical doctor. I had colonoscopy. I had the other one that goes down. What's it called? Yeah. That goes down the throat.
Endoscopy and gastroscopy.
Gastroscopy. Found nothing.
Yeah.
I went to the hospital. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I went to Jason.
Yes.
And we started treating my tummy like it was a baby tummy.
Yes.
And it worked. And we did tummy tuck massages like we do on babies.
Yeah.
And that made it move.
Yeah.
So I went with this for 10 years.
Yes.
And like I said, I tried everything. And I did martial arts, which also means you have to lose weight. And when you have to lose weight, but your tummy is not working, it's a shit show. And it's not a fun experience.
When your tummy is filled and full and not moving, also having people smashing your stomach is not.
Yeah,
that
no,
nice
it was a shit show.
Yeah. Well
Pun
said.
intended.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of issues with this for 10 years, and there was no help to be found, from the medical doctors, because all the samples were fine.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, something is not okay, because I'm kind of. Well, it's not okay. You shouldn't go 3 weeks without going to the toilet.
Exactly. And one time I worked in my early chiropractic career. I worked at a private emergency room where you could go and get help from 3 amazing doctors. There were 2 chiropractors. I was one of them, and a physical therapist. And we had X-ray and lab and the whole thing. So people would come in and use us as a private check or treatment. And it was a really fun, great dynamic environment. But right across the street was a halfway house for people who were recovering from being heroin addicts. And they would have me hang out after hours until everybody was done, because I'm a giant guy. You know, I'm big in the Big and Small podcast. So I'm a giant guy, and I did martial arts my whole life. So they would have me stay there until they were closed, because in the afternoon, evening, a lot of the people who were on drugs or recovering would come in and demand painkillers. It was crazy. But the interesting thing was, of course, your stomach doesn't work that well when you're on morphine and heroin. True. But one of the doctors said, you know who's even more aggressive than the recovering addicts, Jason? And I said, no. And she said, the old ladies that are completely dependent on the medicines that make their stomach move. If the ladies aren't pooping, they get cranky. So
they even more than them, but
yeah,
they're demanding that they're heroin
they're
addicts.
even more, yes. So being dependent on laxatives is worse than being dependent on heroin.
And when you told me that, because it was something, I'm not going to say the name of it, because you should deal with this another way. This should come to than taking this. But I had one medicine that did something.
Yeah.
So I took that when it'd been 2 weeks, and now they're going to explode, or I do need to do something. And during the process that we've been working, I had worked through my migraines. I had worked through my inflammations in the body. Mm-hmm. They were completely gone, because they were very in my face.
Yeah, they
were concrete, and mm-hmm. they were constantly bugging me. It's, if I had the opposite problem, that I was constantly going to the toilet, I think I would have gone to this problem before. But it comes when it's ready, in a way. And we were going to have, and I can say that when we have gotten this far, I had understood and accepted that I have the power to make myself sick. Mm-hmm. I remember when you slightly introduced the thought to me that, maybe that you don't accept your emotions and emotional state, maybe could be something about you also getting migraines. Mm. And I got pissy and
Have you ever seen a pressure cooker and watched the top pop off? Yeah, I wonder why those migraines are there.
And it's because it's so painful. Yeah. So with your conscious mind, you would never do that to yourself.
Oh no, definitely
so
not.
So you feel, I at least then felt personal attack. Like, how can you think that I want to do this to myself?
Yeah, nope.
But it was the body responding to something else. It wasn't consciously, it was very unconsciously, because I didn't deal with the emotions. And like you say, and emotions are energy in motion.
That's right.
So when you don't move it,
yes,
where does it store?
Exactly. And it's going to store, weirdly enough, where your body is more active or stuck. More active or stuck. And why are you stuck in those areas? Well, it could be genetics, it could be injuries, it could be the kind of trauma that came, it could be your physical reaction pattern. All of those things have an effect. Mm. So you're 100% correct there. And the amount of trauma that you receive from any one thing is completely individual. They found out now, because the question was about traumas and subconscious things, that when it's subconscious, often it comes in a situation that you deem normal, but it still blows your circuits and you get a reaction in your nervous system. Or, it's something that happened before you became conscious as a person. Exactly. Like when you're under the age of 6 or under the age of 12, before you become an I, you're a me, or you're basically, if you're under the age of 6, you're most of the time in theta state in your brain, and you're in hypnosis. So you don't notice, you just take in the information and just keep moving. So those traumas can create a ground level of noise in your nervous system, which make your intestines more easily triggered. And again, why is it in your tummy? Your tummy is its own thing, and it's supposed to shut off and not take any energy when you're stressed. So all you have to do is stress yourself sufficiently. But some people can go through a war and not have PTSD, whereas other people literally can get PTSD by going to the grocery store.
Yeah, it's I often found that a lot of the traumas that I've had to work with, they're ridiculous, like literally ridiculous, but the impact's been huge.
Yes, exactly.
Because it came, if I went to walk into a situation that I knew would be tough, I was prepared.
Exactly.
I'm much more cleared out in my system, and the more I do flow states, the more moksha I do, the bigger this resilience becomes.
Exactly.
But you also kind of, if you walk into a meeting that you know is going to be rough, you usually walk out from that meeting okay. At least you don't bring any trauma with you.
Yeah.
But I found that most of my trauma comes when I've been very relaxed and it's a comment just going bam on the side, or something coming when I've not been, or been sick, for instance, so my resilience is low, and then something happens. Yeah. It doesn't, the traumas I've had to take out hasn't come mostly from the big things. Like one of my biggest trauma came from a situation where a man, my leader in the army, asked me, "So how are you doing?"
Exactly.
And at that point, I thought he asked.
Because he cared.
I thought he actually asked the question, not that he asked something that was on a paper, but that he actually cared how I was doing. I opened up, and he smacked me with the baseball bat, like not physically, but mentally, emotionally, baseball bat. Yeah. You know, so, and that took 15 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the army or in a big business, they go, "How are you doing?" Your job is to say, "I'm doing fine."
I'm doing very fine, sir.
Yes. That means I'm still functioning.
Yes.
And if you say, "Oh, I'm not good," this is fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
They think not functioning, bad.
Yeah. So I really have learned that it's not the size. Your trauma is your trauma. If it's a comment that was made to someone else that you picked up on, like you said, when you were a kid, it could be, do not judge the size of it, because the effect it can have cannot been massive on you.
Exactly. You know? And this is, excuse me for the language, but this is the fucked up thing with this, which is, how has that affected you every time after that caring, loving people ask you how you're doing?
Exactly.
You react, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, it's like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, it's not criticism. I just literally want to know how you're doing, you know? What do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know, right? But those traumas create what's called ritualistic avoidance, which means that you don't want to be in that situation again. And you'll walk across the street and go around a store because something bad happened in the store. Exactly. When that's, of course, nothing left in the store that's bad, but you still avoid it, you know, or you avoid answering the questions, how you doing, or you don't even want to think about that because the trauma's there. And I bring that up because you need to work on your subconscious mind, because there's probably a bunch of little things in there. I just want to say there are probably some seeds that you would like to dig out and throw away or repurpose. Because one of the wonderful things with working with you, Marit, has been your unending work and ability to stand in what's uncomfortable and sometimes horrific in order to repurpose it to make it powerful. Because you have powered up so insanely. You've taken it. It's basically when, you know, I always joke, how do you know you've integrated your trauma and repurposed it? Well, when people go, yeah, well, she's successful because she had that trauma as a kid and, you know, it drove her to become excellent. You know, it's like, then you know that you're scoring. You're like, then I did the job, because it becomes a part of your fantastic story instead of the reason why nothing good happened.
Exactly.
Yeah. So doing the deep work, yes, there is a relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind and the nervous system. Your vagal nerve comes from the nervous system, comes from the brainstem, It affects a lot of the organs in your body, but especially connects with your intestines. It's really important that you understand that. So it gets turned on and off with stress. So if you're bumping up against traumas, even if you don't know it, and you're walking around with a high stress level, you need to deal with it because it will affect your health over time.
So with how we finally addressed the tummy issue, and it's so fascinating because again, it's been up to 10 years with this stuff, and I kind of cleared out a lot of the body emotions, when they, again, emotions, energy, and motion. So we say they has to be stored somewhere.
Yes.
So I kind of worked myself. Started with the head, with the migraines, and I worked myself down, and then we kind of got to the stomach. And we were having a deeper session in the integrated human,
Yes.
which we call an awaken session.
Yeah.
This is a very intense session, so it's open for people that has been with us for a long time that are able to stand in the uncomfortable, because here it's a session where you go in and you're gonna change something. So we had a conversation around it, and you said maybe you should look at control.
Yeah.
What do you mean? and here this is a very interesting process, because I had gotten so many proof that yes, I can change my physical body with changing something on the inside, because my migraines were gone, my inflammations were gone. This was kind of the last issue.
Yeah.
But if you're a control person, you don't want to first accept that you have an issue because you love control. And then I kind of, but I need control. And said, but it's not about letting go of control, because control is also structure.
Yes.
So I'm like, should I then say, well, my intention is to let go of control? I said, no, because you don't want to be a loosey-goosey, wiggly-waggly person that don't kind of progress in life. You need structure to progress.
Yes.
So, but what you want maybe is to let go of the need to control the things you can't control.
Yeah.
And I said, that feels like a burden taken off my shoulders. And I don't know what that looks like, but that's the intention. So we started a session, which included, you had the conversation first to kind of sort the mind, and we had NIT, and then we had Soma breath.
Yes.
And what I repeated over and over and over again was my intention.
Yes.
And that was my intention is to let go of the need to control everything. Now, my intention is to let go of the need to control everything that I can't hold or control. So that was the intention, and I always came back to that. I always use moksha, which we learn in the flow state weekends, because that is the center of everything. Yes. And when your body is releasing this, you just have to observe and watch it, because it's incredible, but it's hefty. It is heavy.
It's heavy.
It's very beautiful, but the body is releasing it. And we did that during that session. I think we worked for 4 hours in total. It was a wonderful session. Yes. I loved that session. My nervous system was just blown out afterwards. I can't move. You were
so cute. You're like, no, I'm staying.
I'm staying.
Yep.
I'm feeling like I felt like all my nerve ends had been fired.
Yeah.
But in a very good way, but just
Yeah.
I don't know if I can walk down the stairs, and not with like a fear or anything, more like, I'm so just, I feel like everything's just, I don't know. It was this feeling. I can't explain it. It was just amazing.
Kind of like when you've been holding heavy bags of groceries for a long time and you relax your hand for the first time. It kind of hurts when it opens, but then the good feeling of
it was just putting your whole body,
It's so cool.
And I got down again and we had dinner, and then the day after, 9:00, went to the toilet.
It's so good.
And every day since.
Yes. And that, my friends, is a Marit miracle. That is the power of her mind in her heart, in her body, creating change that is palpable. It is everyday, concrete, and you have to understand that when you work up, down, inside out, that means that you can really affect not only your body, but also your life, because your whole existence is different now.
Yeah, and the thing is, yes, it's a miracle. What happened, I don't know. In the way that I just know now it functions. And it was more of a, I'm ready to release this now.
Yes.
The time to release this wasn't before.
No, exactly.
If you had said that 2 years before, it wouldn't have worked, I think, because the more I do this, I know that the thing that is ready to go and letting go of those things build the resilience for the other things.
That's right.
And they are serving you to some degree somehow.
Yes.
Until you get to the point where that pattern, that thought pattern, that belief system doesn't serve you anymore. And that is what we work on with the flow states. That it's so beautiful, I think, because I got a question like, how is it therapy? Or said, no, it's not therapy. I don't know what the people are working with. And to be honest, it's none of my business.
Yeah, exactly.
If they are working with a divorce, an argument, a control issue, alcoholism, fear of dreaming, fear of feeling,
being a workaholic,
fear of joy, whatever they're dealing with.
Yeah, it's their personal journey.
Their journey. I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
and that seems wrong, but it's none of my business. I care for them.
Yeah,
but
their process is their process.
It's none of my business what they're working with.
And you don't need to have a conversation about it.
Not
at
all.
Point.
Because it's yours.
Exactly.
And whatever you are ready to release and let go of, you do that there. And the smallest thing can have the largest effects.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly right. And why is it that you don't really know what it was, but you knew that it released and you got the response from it? That means that it was partially conscious and partially subconscious. And your subconscious mind, if you think about it, if your conscious mind is the size of a stamp, then your subconscious mind, as I've said before, is the size of a football stadium. So the amount of things and the amount of work that happens in your subconscious mind is so much, it's so overwhelmingly complicated that if you had conscious control over it, it would freak you out. You wouldn't be able to, you'd be frozen because you would never be able to move in life. So your body beats its heart, digests the food, knows what food you ate, gave the right amount of acid, sends out blood, does all of these things so you don't have to think about it, because it would be way too complicated in your life and you would be all too slow in survival situations if you had to remember to beat your heart. Oh, beat. Oh, beat. Oh, there's a tiger. Beat, 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 beat. As you're trying to find a way you're going to escape. So, of course, there's things that you don't even have to handle. You don't have to handle your heart rate and how hard the heart beats. You don't have to handle all of these processes once you go through the human evolutionary and achievement technology, which is what we have, the process in the integrated human that we have. These things happen automatically. And it's not just Marit. We get feedback from so many people who...
Since last time, we have had one that was lactose intolerant. That is not lactose intolerant anymore.
And that's an immune system issue.
He took the test with chugging a glass of milk going... Because he had just felt something had changed. He started eating a little bit cheese, a little bit. And then
he ordered cheesecake when we were out. I'm like, that's cheesecake, right? And he's like, I'm better now. I'm
and then he did the test with a glass of milk at home.
Bam.
Just to be sure. Yep. And it worked fine. We have had people with the irritable bowel syndrome that are better.
Absolutely.
And none of these worked on that specifically. I was fixing my stomach that session. I was not caring what it would take. I knew you are going to change.
Yeah, that's
because
it.
I knew this session, I'm going all in this session. I'm staying with it. I'm staying conscious the whole time in moksha, not interfering,
Yeah.
like, but just observing. This will happen.
Yep.
But these other people, they have gotten it not on purpose. It's been a side effect of them accepting their heart more, being able to use their emotions instead of in a productive way, instead of leaking it out.
Because it's about cycling up, becoming more evolved, and it's also about achieving more in your life. And in order to do that, the natural byproduct, of course, is to become more healthy.
Yeah, I think one of the guys I talked to said, so when did the change happen? And he's been going to the Flow States event for a long time now. And he said, well, I don't know. I just, at one point, I was driving to this new place I was going to stay, and I just felt like something lifted off my shoulder. I do not know what it is, but something happened.
Exactly.
And then because he became that person, and that new person didn't have lactose intolerance.
Exactly.
And it sounds ridiculous.
No, but that's it.
Because you wouldn't, like I said, I was so angry at the time that Jason said, maybe could you think about, maybe you could have some effect on your migraines, maybe if you worked a little bit on the emotions. That I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. Damn you, man.
And like, damn you, thinking I would do that pain, give myself that pain.
Yeah.
Because I lose myself when I have migraines. I want to hit my head in the wall because I lose myself, lost myself because I don't have them anymore. But understanding that you have actually this power. Yeah.
You do have massive power. You do define that. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of an insight, if that's okay?
Of course.
Yeah, because just thinking about the time and all that, because you're the timekeeper. This is important. Time Lord. This is important. Now, part of our process in the integrated human is the Socratic method, aka discovery. Okay? So I take people through a process of discovering themselves and thinking about things by asking questions, hence Socratic, like Socrates, asking questions that put people in a process so that they can more easily understand themselves. Now, because we're talking about trauma and because we have Marit here, she was having issues with her tummy. And she knows that it wasn't the flu. The flu was the timing of it, but she was in the military. It wasn't
the flu that did that.
It was a shit show.
Right? It was not. It was the opposite.
It was the opposite of a shit. She wanted a shit show. Okay. So the point is that when we started the process, if you go back and listen to a lot of the podcasts that we did in the beginning, you'll hear one of the podcasts we talk about this. After one of our European championships where we had a whole bunch of winning and medals, and we were having a dinner afterwards, and we were eating, and all of us had our losses and our wins and our medals, and we were feeling amazing. It was a great group, and we were celebrating. It's what we called going to Valhalla. Yes. We were just eating our food and enjoying, but I don't have time to waste. So I always ask the difficult questions sometimes, and I also ask important questions. So I just went around the table and I just said, so can you identify any of the traumas in your life? And we went from one person to the other, and everybody was like, yeah, they used to stuff me into a garbage can when I was a kid. And the other one was like, yeah, my sister did this and that. And, oh yeah, and I come to Marit, who's been in the military, who has obvious signs of being traumatized.
Sorry.
And I said, so Marit, what about
signs of being traumatized?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. True story. Because of that we can go back.
I had a massive freezing response.
Yeah. You were locked in freezing in action situations.
Everywhere.
So much.
Everywhere.
Which was freezing the tummy as well, just saying. And I asked you, so Marit, do you have any trauma?
Oh, I said no.
Yeah, she's like, hell no.
And it wasn't kind of like, no, I don't want to talk about it. It was like, no.
She literally did not acknowledge.
I didn't. it was because again, it's so important this because it wasn't that I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't have any. I was super sure.
Yeah, you were asking yourself, do I?
No, I do not have traumas.
Yeah. And
I was wrong.
Her definition, and again, life is about definitions and perceptions, and then moving them into action. Her definition was, I didn't get my leg blown off. I didn't get my arm blown off. And that in the military setting was trauma.
Yeah, that's how I identified it. And also I didn't have, in my head then, it was in 2017, I think. Trauma for me was blown up legs, being in a war zone, bad divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a kid dying, something like that. Being sexual mistreated, abused somehow, being hit as a child. None of that.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly.
None of that. I don't have any of that. So I said with confidence, I don't have trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have any.
Yeah. And then the point is that when you started then to become more aware of yourself and the patterns actually started jumping up at you, at one point you had to go, yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
I got me some trauma. Yeah.
Jason, I think I have issues.
Yeah, I have some issues. And we started working with those and they released, but it had to start with the discovery. And that's why that portion of the flow state continuum is so important, because without the moksha, the pure awareness, without the centering. Now, just so it's said, does everybody have to recenter? All the time. Like some way, you have to recenter. You have to recenter. Yeah. But the whole point is that clear space of awareness is always there. The question is, are you aligned with it or not? Right? We get knocked out of alignment. So you begin with that. And then from that space, you start to look and discover who you are and what you are. And then some of the subconscious stuff starts to come up and starts to say hello. It's a really great process. And then Steve takes people through these really deep soma breath meditations and breath work. And, we take people on different kinds of journeys. Marit and Steve are the best band ever.
Best band ever.
Yeah. And they create the music, the rhythms that shamans use in order to basically help you have a relationship, an active relationship with your subconscious mind. So there are methods, and we've collected these neurologically based methods that have traditionally and scientifically worked in order to produce this evolution, transformation, and achievement.
Yeah, and your life just gets better and better. I will say my life is better with a tummy that works, and I haven't changed anything. Mm-hmm. Just so that said, this happened in October or November last year.
Yeah.
I haven't changed anything. I don't eat differently. I drink the same stuff. My days are the same copy paste lifestyle I had last year. Nothing has changed on the outside.
Exactly.
So, but from that session, every day now.
Yes.
From not like maybe once every third week.
Yeah.
To once a day.
Yeah.
And that it happened within that day.
Yeah.
It's I can say when it started and when it stopped.
Yeah. And also another thing, again, it's not because the tummy is the best and most beautiful concrete example of it. And of course it's relevant to the question we got, but so much else has changed inside you. Your adaptability, your ability to take unexpected things. Remember what she just said? She said, as long as you know about it, and when you walk into the meeting and it's going to be hard, it's going to be fine. You don't walk out with trauma. But what if it comes from the side and you don't expect it? Your resilience is
so much better.
Yeah.
So what happens is that with every deep dive I do, I do a deep dive, and that's so important to be a little bit conscious of what you want to achieve or what you want to change, or having that vision, working on that vision, daring to dream about the future, and then having that consciousness that we get through the moksha and the Socratic method. I know. I'm deciding what I want, and then we do a deep dive, and then I integrate, and then in that integration, you kind of are reborn. You get to choose differently. You get to be someone else. You get to be the new you, And universe is testing you a little bit to say, are you sure you want this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. Because you decided it. It's not no one put that vision of your life in your head. You put it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you circle again up. And then you integrate, new deep dive. And it's a constant circle, but upward.
Yes.
So with every deep dive, you build resilience. And the more you do this, and we see this now, it's so fun, I see, because we have had people, we've been doing integrated human for 5 years, I think.
5 years, yeah.
4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
Some of the people have been with us from the beginning, and thank you for the trust.
Oh yeah.
Holy,
but also you're welcome for the change.
But you're welcome. But thank you, and thank you for being committed to your journey, and the change they are seeing now.
It's crazy.
Because it doesn't in the start. It's a bitsy because your whole body is getting awakened after being asleep for, I don't know when you start, if you're 20, 30, 40, 50. So it takes a little bit to get that the body understands, your being understands that change are happening, because it doesn't like change. Mm-hmm. But the more you do it, the more familiar it becomes, the bigger change you get every time.
Yeah.
And the more resilience you get every time. Like, it doesn't, like when you do strength training, you get a lot of change in the beginning, and then the change drops.
Yes.
But this is opposite.
Yes.
In the beginning, it's a bitsy tiners.
Yeah.
So then you have to really look for it.
Yeah.
Where's the change? Where's the change?
How
Where's
do
the
I feel
change?
today?
How do I feel
different?
today?
Yeah.
You may get one proof a day that something happened.
Exactly.
But the more you do it,
wow,
you find 15 a day, 20
compounds.
Proofs a day that you changed it.
And that changes the direction of your life.
Big time. And again, now when you see these wonderful people that have been hammering it for 5 years now, man, their life.
Oh, yeah.
It's.
Yeah. And I was like, was it worth the work?
Well worth it.
Well worth it. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Their health is better. Their relationships are better.
The direction of their life is different and better.
And many of them, the life on the outside looks a lot the same for many.
For many, because it was what they kind of wanted to begin with.
But they, from waking up, having anxiety, being angry, feeling disappointed, they say now, I now wake up being in love with my life.
That's amazing.
Because I have chosen this.
That's it.
And that is the power you gain from this process that we have with Upward Going Spiral, is that you gain resilience, you gain the ability to choose, understanding that you choose, and going from a state of survival to a state of being relaxed. And so your nervous system can go fight when it has to, and then go down again.
Exactly. That's excellent. All right. Remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.